Okay, someone sent me an email and asking me if this is what I'm looking for. So what I'm saying right now is not the golden rule that I'm looking for, but just according to this file, and I just want to share my opinion and my feeling, okay, and what I thought about this file. Okay, so first of all, I don't know what caused the trouble, but I wonder why this file has this much space over there, right? And it doesn't show me entire diagram. So, as I mentioned before, if you train me as one of your students, then it requires let your students do some extra work, right? Which is not related to learning that object, right? I mean, just like okay, then I have to raise it, and even it shows me the entire result altogether at the end, right? So if you want to use this progress bar, then you should save this one, right? And send to your students, right? So let your students play with it, okay? So not conclusion, right? So once again, don't treat me as your instructor and kind of need my judgment on you. Rather, you try to teach me, then this should be better, right? And not like this kind of unnecessary stuff and not showing the entire your file. And so I don't know, maybe this is not what your classmates want to, but anyway, when I receive it, it looks like it looks like this way. It opens this way. So okay, that's the first thing I just have feeling. So then I have to work again by myself. Okay, then go back and start looking at that. Then I suspect these steps are following what is in that project, right? So construct the quadrilateral, do the diagonal. This is just a guidance, what you are supposed to make and try to teach something, right? So, and even some steps, it doesn't do anything, right? Like in step 6, I don't think any activities, so I don't want to see that part, right? Okay. Then your students might wonder, okay, oh, did I miss anything? Because it doesn't look like nothing happens, so what do I do, or something like that, right? So we should avoid those type of stuff. So, I mean, this kind of stuff shouldn't happen, right? Because we want to teach something, right? So using technology causes more trouble, then we shouldn't use that, right? So anyway, so okay, after finish this construction and showing all its numbers and suddenly asking all three questions all together, and that's it, right? So my feeling is, okay, why don't you just give me the entire one at once? Then maybe when I open it, it shows that way, right? It shows everything. Then, like what I mentioned yesterday, what for, right? We can put this text and this picture, the textbook or lecture note, whatever, and just to toss out the text to them, right? What's the goal, meaning of making this a dynamic graph and guide them? It's not really using it, right? So it's not what I'm looking for. Okay? Rather, those stuff, construct a quadrilateral and draw something. Look, when I ask to make a file for Euclidean construction, then we have to show the construction step by step, right? This one is not about construction at all, right? It's rather let them make some kind of conjecture through this activity, right? Let our students do that, right? So making those quadrilateral and diagonals, it should be given in the beginning, right? And maybe asking the first question, even before that, like suggest, move around those points, right? Okay, all these four vertices, and see or find when the diagonals bisect each other. Then at the time, you could give these numbers, right? Or even before it's okay. But now the problem or the question is, okay, when they find some other cases, just realize, oh, it's not bisecting each other. And according to this, at certain moment they found, oh, I got the bisecting case. But is this figure tells some guidance or gives some hints to our students? No. So then what is the goal of this activity? I suspect there are certain quadrilateral has that property, right? Bisecting each other. And to show that, actually we want the parallelogram, but in that case, one of the stuff is, right, it's not the name, but how about the value, right? So even it's not like it's showing that. So after we have those, right, when we got the bisecting case, we got those opposite sides have same length, right? And for other cases, it's not. So through this activity, the question, they could answer the first question. When these diagonals are bisecting each other, oh, when we have the opposite sides of this quadrilateral have the same length or something like that, right? And we kind of assuming they should know about the name of that quadrilateral in that case, right? And they might think, try, or maybe is that the only case, and trying, and they could answer that one, right? So even go further, not showing this length every time, but like whenever they got that bisecting case, suddenly maybe to change the color of these sides, or this length appears only that time, right? So like they don't need to really comparing them, but when they got this parallelogram, suddenly they see the different color of size, or these numbers are showing up, only that case, right? So this diagonal length is always showing up, but when they got the bisecting case, these numbers are showing up. So students kind of feel like, oh, something happens right now, and they realize, oh, I got the same number. But some other style of approach is, yeah, this number is still showing, right, every time, and they see, okay, these numbers are different, okay, and the diagonals are not bisecting, so they could guess, right, what would happen, right, when the diagonals are bisecting each other. Okay, then the next question is, it possible that the diagonals don't intersect each other? Okay, do you have any such case? I wonder whether they could figure out that much, right? So if our quadrilateral, no one says it must be convex, whatever. So yeah, this is also quadrilateral, and the answer should be yes. So in this case, yeah, yes and no, but okay, how or not? So in this case, yeah, it's just something else. Okay, but so you know what I mean, right? Like I mentioned before, this is not the only question that we want to ask or we should ask. uh, it might be something else, but this is some kind of guidance for the main goal of this activity, for this conjecture. Okay, so but once again we don't have time, so these questions are enough. But what I'm looking for is, okay, do we give our students like enough hint and information through this activity, right? Then not like this type of just everything is tossed up all together, and the real kind of animation or steps, it looks like just how to sketch and draw this diagram, which is really not necessary for this activity, for this project, right? I mean, as a teaching model, right? Rather, we should give this everything at once in here. The actual thing is let them play with it, and whenever they got that case to answer that question, we should kind of pointing out that moment, right? Oh, you find out certain case right now. Can you see what really happens like that, right? So then, in that point of view, I don't see anything like that, right? From that original file. So okay, that is I'm looking for. Hopefully it's going to be helpful when you design your teaching module. So I'm not, at this moment, for the sake of a homework assignment, I'm not expecting really many detailed, really fancy ones, but just at least if we ask any questions and we expecting students are doing something, then we have to give the guidance, right? Yeah, play with those vertices. And when do the diagonal bisect each other? Not just asking the question, but also give some kind of hint through these dynamic graphs, right? So when they got that case, then somehow we want to guide them. Oh, this is the case, right? Not only just checking it. So just imagine without having giving these numbers for each side, how do they know whether they got the same kind of length for the opposite sides? Unless they know the fact already, right? It only happens for like, for example, parallelogram or something like that. If they know, then yeah, I got the parallelogram right there. But our assumption is we want to teach that fact, right? Then we have to guide them. Well, see, then the opposite side is the same. And do we have any theorem or some definitions which has some kind of special name in that case, or, right? And if even this is beforehand, right? So then you can guide them. Oh, I mean, so that one of the problem is as an instructor we know the result, right? We know everything, so it's so clear for us, right? Yeah, but try, like I mentioned yesterday, try to look at those file as a student point of view, right? And just assuming they don't know anything about it, and you want to teach them and guide them to understand the concept, right? Then by just asking these questions, not, I don't think it's not enough, right? I mean, we should kind of guide them, right? Oh, this is the moment. Okay, then can you find anything? Without showing anything, they don't know what even expect, right, to answer. So like something we have to guide them, right? So maybe showing that length only at that moment, or showing the number every moment, but like when you got that, maybe change the color. Uh, So changing color and everything is kind of difficult right now. So maybe just to put the number, okay, every time. Okay. So not only when they got the right position, but yeah, still showing the numbers for all these things. And then at least they could see, oh, these numbers are same matter, right? And for in this case, number 2 and 3, I think there is not that much we do, but maybe you can give some uh, kind of checkbox with hint, right? So when they click it, it suggests push one of the vertices to the passing through that diagonals, okay, something like that, or just pointing out a move, let's say A, B, C, D, then move the vertex C, uh, passing through the diagonal BD, right? That's the kind of hint. So not giving the direct answer, but let them do how to kind of do this hands-on activity, right? And to find out the answer for them, right? So next one is kind of uh, easy, right? Okay, so we might have such cases, right? So so the answer should be yes and like that. But to get the bisecting case, right, then this should not work, right? So to get the bisecting case, we should have this kind of convex case only. Then it says show all of those quadrilaterals. In this case, okay, then the actual meanings of it is like not only parallelogram, uh, so it's better to change position like this, right? So it's a rectangle, right? It also has the same, because rectangle is a parallelogram already, right? And square, right? And rhombus, okay, like that, right? I mean, like this, right? So we want to get that form, but from student point of view, it's a little bit difficult to find all of those. So in that case, you might need another checkbox, and when they click it, maybe here you just show that those 4 different shapes with the names like that, right? So sometimes we don't want to give them the answers. because they could find it. Sometimes we give them the answer because we don't want them spend their time too much, right? Just looking for that trivial, easy answers, right? So we can give them the answer like that. And rather, after give the answer and asking them, okay, why these are the only cases for that or something like that, right? You can ask something more like that. So this is just my opinion of when I see this file, and just suggest, okay, if I were you, I might make my module like that way. Uh, but once again, it's not the golden rule, and we have to do that way, right? So it's just one minimum requirement is, okay, none like this, right? And is we have to guide our students. That's the main goal and the only goal of making this one. So through this hands-on activity, students could make some kind of conjecture, okay, or understand the future theorem, right? Oh, it looks like that way. And when they learn the proof, they are already convinced about that fact, right? And they see the mathematical proof about it. So I believe it makes them much more stronger, okay, to understand the concept. Okay, so hopefully this explanation is clear, and you can get some hint or guidance how to make those type of uh, project file, right? Okay, so I really appreciate to ask this question. So please, right, to send me those emails, right, asking me like, uh, I mean, not answering like directly. There's no such thing, right? But like, you might ask my opinions like this one, but not every single one. But I think it is a general question, and I really appreciate to ask me that one. Okay, so please send me an email if you have any question. Okay? Thank you.